These 3 baby raccoons were a very unexpected surprise. Here's how we found them. Sarah and I got invited out onto the lake, and while I was trying to install the battery, I noticed a bunch of shredded pool noodles by the engine. At first I thought someone might have hit something and wondered if the motor was damaged, but that's when we saw them, the 3 baby raccoons. And then that's when the pool noodles started to make sense. It was being used for bedding for her and her babies. After the initial shock, we kept a close eye out for Mom. The last thing we wanted to do was make her feel like her babies were being threatened and have her try to attack us. Luckily, she was not nearby. However, the unfortunate thing is the babies cannot stay in the boat, so we had to relocate them to the nearest tree line where we thought the mom would be nearest to. We tucked them in between a couple of logs to protect them from predators and the elements. You definitely don't want to leave these little guys in direct sunlight. Then we left for a couple of hours to give the mom time to return for her babies, undisturbed. As we were pulling out of the marina, we glimpsed the mom. This was a good sign. The babies were still crying, so she probably heard them and would be coming to their rescue. With that, we left Mom to do her thing. By the time we got back, it was dark out, and when we checked, the mom had taken 2 out of the 3 babies. We were a bit hesitant at first, but we decided to leave the 3rd baby in the box overnight. We came back the next day to see if the mom had taken the last baby. Here is the footage of us finding out in real time whether or not the baby was still in the box.
Oh, yeah. Yep. He moved.
After leaving the last baby out overnight, we decided to take the little raccoon in. When the mom came around the first time, the first 2 babies were gone within the first couple of hours. Mom had plenty of time to relocate the 3rd, but didn't. We're still not quite sure why. We thought about leaving it for another day, but there were so many predators in the area as well as bad weather coming in. The drive was several hours long, and we couldn't keep an eye on it like we would have liked, so we picked up the little baby and took it home. Now that the baby is in our care, our first priority is to make sure it's warm and hydrated. We went to the store and grabbed some supplies. It's important to know how much a baby raccoon weighs, so you know how much to feed it, and to keep tabs on its weight so you know how it's progressing. Before you start feeding them milk, it's important to make sure it's hydrated properly. Using Pedialyte is an easy way to hydrate them. In my experience, it can be pretty difficult to get them to drink from the bottle at first, so the raccoon might actually lose some weight before it learns to properly suckle. This is why you want to monitor their weight to make sure it's getting enough milk and not dropping too much weight. On average, you want to feed it about 5% of its body weight in each meal, and at this age, it'll eat about 5 to 7 times a day. You can raise raccoons on kitten formula, however they typically don't like the taste. You'll need to force feed them for the first couple of days, up to a week before they actually start acquiring a taste for it. You can sweeten the milk by adding a drop or 2 of Caro syrup. Then once they start taking to the bottle, you can wean them off of it. But after a day or 2, they start to get the hang of it. Then they get better and better until finally they figure it out. Then it was time for her first vet visit. The vet confirmed what we already thought, that she was a girl. Overall, the vet said she was doing great. They prescribed her some dewormer and said to give it to her in a couple of days. So we waited a few days, like we were told, and I made sure that she was strongly accepting her milk bottle before administering it. This is when everything changed. 9 hours later, she became unresponsive and could barely move. We rushed her back to the vet, but they said she didn't have much of a chance. I told them about the dewormer, and they pretty much said that wasn't the issue. They thought it was potentially pneumonia and dehydration, but this didn't seem right to me. She was eating and acting the healthiest she has ever been. The only thing different was the medication. I don't really know if it was the medication or not. All I know is she was fine prior to the dewormer and unresponsive within a few hours. I sat with her over the next few hours, petting her and keeping her warm. Then slowly but surely, she started to get better. She began to have larger movements, and she got her voice back. But the most hopeful sign was she got her appetite back. By the end of the 2nd day, she seemed to be back to her normal self. However, about a week later, something amazing happened. She opened her eyes for the first time. Once her eyes opened, she seemed to have a much bigger appetite than normal, and her growth seemed to be exponential, to the point she looked visibly bigger each day. She is now entering the stage where people think raccoons make good pets. At this point, they are the cutest they'll ever be, the most well-behaved, small, barely active, and easy to deal with. People get sucked into wanting to keep them. But then once they get out of this stage after about 4 to 6 months, people run into a bunch of problems. The raccoons put on a ton of weight, which makes them hard to handle. They become much stronger and can bite and scratch much harder. They also stop following you wherever you go, and then they become super stubborn and stop listening to you altogether. It's such a short time for their personality to change so drastically, and people panic. They try to pawn them off on rehabbers or try and release them back into the woods. These are huge issues because if you spend a lot of time handling them, then they get used to people, which is bad. They need to know that people mean danger when they're out in the wild. If you try to release them into the wild, they don't make it because they never learned the necessary skills to survive on their own. And typically, raccoons under a year old don't survive, especially without a group. The truth is, raccoons typically don't make very good pets. We have to do a lot of special things to our house to make it safe for them. They destroy everything, and most people don't have the time, money, or patience to handle them. But anyways, rant over. Bro's a foot, get over it. I really didn't expect to get the first time she ever started playing on camera like that. Sorry I ruined it, alright? But fine, if that's how you're gonna be, I won't put it in next time. And then you get to miss out on the first time she does something cool. Is that what y'all want? Y'all want to be acting like you don't got your own set of feet? Huh? Sorry to all the people that don't have feet. Oh sure, when she chews on her foot, y'all probably think that's cute. But as soon as mine enter the frame, y'all have a cow. The double standards here are unreal. Here are a few more clips of the baby raccoon walking and running for the first time. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out TitoTheRaccoon.com for paintings from this little artist. Due to child labor laws, we're only going to be creating a few pieces here and there, so get them while you can. Thanks for watching!